Okay, we're going to start off with stances. Stances and foot maneuvers. Stances are the base of any martial art. If you don't have the stances right, you're probably not doing anything else right, because in every technique, every punch, every kick you throw, there's a stance, or it starts off with a stance. Stances are basically your foot and leg position, your hand position, your head position, and your posture. In your stance, you want to be able to defend or attack quickly from any point. Foot maneuvers are ways you can move around in your stance. You can move around and still be able to attack or defend quickly. You want to use pretty much one stance for everything you do. You don't want to kick from one stance and punch from another stance, because then people will figure that out and you won't be able to get them anymore. Okay, we're going to start off with our fighting stance. You have to know this fighting stance before you go on to anything else, because this is where everything starts from and everything goes back to this stance. So we're going to start off, I'm going to put my front toe on this line and my back heel on this line. So this line, this end of the line is pointed at my opponent, whoever I'm fighting. So my front toe and my back heel, that's going to keep me from turning my back or squaring up my stance. It's going to keep me sideways, my body sideways. I also want my feet shoulder width apart. What that means is if my hands went all the way down to the ground, I want my feet about on the outside of my hands. So that way if somebody pushes me back, I have this leg to stop me, and if somebody pulls me forward, I have this leg to stop me. If they're too close together, I'm going to be pushed back or pulled down really easy. And if they're too far apart, it's just going to be hard to move and I'm going to be off balance. The other thing I want my feet 45 degrees. So anything that goes straight across this line, I call 90 degrees. Straight across that way or straight forward. I want it right in the middle, not straight forward, not straight across, right in the middle, pointed towards the front, that way. So feet 45 degrees. Again, that's going to keep me from squaring up my stance or turning my back. It's also going to keep my groin guarded. I'm going to use this knee, I'm going to bend my knees. So this knee is going to guard my groin. I want to bend my knees a lot. If you watch this back foot, this back heel, when I bend my knees, it's going to come off the ground. I want them bent a lot. It's okay if that back knee, that back leg comes off the ground. I want that back heel off the ground. So like I said, that's going to help me guard my groin. It's also, this bend in my legs is going to help me push forward or backwards. I'm going to have more mobility and more balance. So front toe, back heel on the line, feet 45 degrees, shoulder width apart, knees bent. I also want my hips right in between my feet. I want the weight even on both feet. If I'm leaning back, I'm going to be pushed back really easy. And if I'm leaning forward, I'm going to be pulled down, or I'm going to get my front leg swept out and I'm going to fall. So front toe, back heel, feet 45 degrees, shoulder width apart, knees bent, and I want my weight even. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hands up. I'm going to keep my elbows as close as I can to my ribs and bring my hands up like this. Alright? If I have any space in between my elbows and my ribs, I can get caught with a kick or a punch under my elbows. I want my elbows to be very close. I'm going to keep my chin down, but my eyes up. I always keep my eyes up. If you notice, with my elbows down, even if I put my hands up, it's not really blocking my head. What I do is I just crunch down a little bit like that. I bend my back a little bit. That way I'm guarding my head and my body. I keep my hands really close to my head because I have to move less to block everything. If my hands are right here close to my head, I only have to move this much to block my whole head. The farther I move and put my hands out, I have to move my hands farther to block everything. I'm just leaving myself open. I'm going to waste more energy trying to block all that stuff. So I put my knuckles right above my temples. That way I'm blocking my temples, my eyes, and my jaw, all the parts that are going to hurt if I get hit. I don't block the top of my head. I'm not worried too much about the top of my head because it's harder than most of the things people are going to hit me with. So I want my front toe, back heel on the line, feet fully 45 degrees, shoulder width apart, knees bent, weight even. I want my hips in between my feet, elbows in, hands up, my chin down.